Hello, welcome to the morning news. We start in Mexico City, where hundreds of people marched to mark 10 months since the forcibly disappearance of 43 students in Ayotzinapa. Protesters also marched in solidarity with different major cities such as Guadalajara and Morelos. Activists and relatives of the missing students announced they will launch a new nationwide caravan to inform people about their case and to gather more information and disappearances and human rights abuses. At least 20,000 people are registered as missing throughout Mexico. Relatives of the 43 missing Ayotzinapa students also demanded the Mexican government to show credible evidence on the whereabouts of their loved ones. After months of investigations, Mexican authorities claimed that the students were murdered by armed men linked to a drug cartel. However, investigators have only been able to identify the remains of one of the students. The relatives announced that they will only believe two upcoming reports by an Argentine expert team and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. And the new report released Sunday shows that after 10 months, authorities have uncovered dozens of graves. According to information provided by the Attorney General's office, officials have uncovered at least 60 clandestine graves over the past 8 months in the state of Guerrero. The graves contained more than 100 bodies. Just one of the remains belonged to a disappeared student. A report issued by the National Human Rights Commission last week showed that some omissions of which could have led to vital information on the fate of the missing students were committed by Mexican authorities during the investigations. An important role in the recent territorial dispute between Venezuela and Guyana. According to former Vice President Jose Vicente Rangel, the U.S. government would be subtly backing the government of Guyana itself being influenced by Exxon Oil Company to dispute the Essequibo region with Venezuela. Rangel says that recent hostilities by Guyana could be directly related to an executive order passed by President Barack Obama in March, declaring Venezuela a national security threat. New evidence has shed light on late Argentine attorney Alberto Nisman's finances. According to information released by local daily Página 12, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth in checks were found in the safe box in his apartment. Furthermore, documents found in Nisman's residence showed he had been working with U.S. private companies, which are closely linked to CIA and other U.S. intelligence service. The new documents provide new leads surrounding the death of the attorney. During a massive act in Havana marking the anniversary of the Moncada assault, when Fidel Castro tried to take over the military facility in 1953, Cuba called on the United States to end the decade-long blockade on the island nation and to give back control over the illegally occupied territory of Guantanamo. Cuban Vice President Jose Ramon Machado Ventura highlighted the importance of both goals for his government.
Now we begin a long and complex road towards the normalization of bilateral relations, which includes, among other things, the ending of the embargo and the return of the Guantanamo naval base.
The United States government announced Sunday that it will release a new plan to close down Guantanamo prison. According to the White House, the plan would ensure the transfer of dangerous prisoners locked in the notorious prison to high-security facilities inside the U.S. The plan aims at closing down the prison before January 2017, when a new presidential term would begin. It is unclear if the announcement is related to the renewed U.S. relationship with Cuba. However, the White House explained that the move has been taken in accordance with U.S. national security interests.
That has been something that our national security officials have been working on for quite some time, primarily because it is a priority of the President. He believes it's in our clear national security interest for us to close the prison at Guantanamo Bay.
Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos ordered Sunday a halt in air raids against the FARC guerrilla. Santos said the airstrikes should be frozen unless he directly authorized them. The president's move was greeted by experts as a step forward in the peace process after the FARC declared a unilateral ceasefire earlier this month. But Santos' decision was met with criticism by the Colombian far right led by former President Álvaro Uribe. And now we turn to a roundup of war news.
The Turkish government called for an emergency NATO meeting on Sunday, after airstrikes on Kurdish militia camps in both Iraq and Syria sparked protests within Turkey. Ankara invoked Chapter 4 of NATO's founding treaty to call for the meeting set for Tuesday this week. The meeting aims at discussing the threat represented by the Islamic State group in the region. Within hours after declaring a humanitarian ceasefire in Yemen, Saudi forces broke the truce, attacking the city of Taiz and killing at least 80 people. The airstrikes came after the Saudi government alleged Houthi rebels had attacked armed groups loyal to pro-Saudi exiled President Abd Mansur Hadi. More than 80% of the country's population is believed to be in need of emergency aid. As witnesses explained, Taiz is a predominantly residential neighborhood, and Saudi attacks were seen as unjustified by local residents.
There were continuous airstrikes without any breaks, and we have no military men, no devils. We don't even have gunmen around here. We couldn't get to our children. There were some 20 bodies that I pulled out with my own hands and counted. Who is to blame for this?
United States President Barack Obama landed in Ethiopia in his last stop in his African tour. Obama is set to speak to the African Union to discuss the crisis in Sudan on Monday. After meeting with the local government, the U.S. president has come under widespread criticism as his agenda with Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn is centered on economy and security interests. Desalegne's government has repeatedly been singled out for its human rights violations. Russia unveiled a new maritime doctrine marking the celebration of its traditional Navy Day, which displayed Russia's most powerful vessels. The new doctrine rejects NATO's naval expansion towards Russia's mainland and reinforces Russia's fleets in the Atlantic and the Arctic. The document also calls on widening cooperation with both China and India, while developing independent maritime technology.
We go back to the United States, where the final match of the CONCACAF Gold Cup was won by Mexico. With a 3-1 victory, Mexico secured its 10th tournament, and Jamaica came second for the first time in the history of the regional competition. However, this edition of the Gold Cup has been stained by controversy after a series of irregularities benefited Mexico in key games against Costa Rica and Panama. Both games were marked by last-minute penalty calls that the CONCACAF says it's now investigating. And the renowned Tour de France ended Sunday with another victory for British cyclist Chris Froome, who had won of the 2013 edition of the competition. But Froome's victory was a narrow one, just 72 ahead of Colombian Nairo Quintana, being the narrowest margin since 2008. The British cyclist dedicated his victory to his teammates and wife. More on these on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Thanks for watching and have a good day.